Well, I say that. I act as though some people are going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm aware nobody's watching this right now, seeing as it's a live stream. But for those of you who are watching this in the future, I recently took a break from YouTube and was going to do a video originally, more or less giving an idea whether or not I was actually going to quit or not, which I'm not. I decided I'm not going to. I'm just not going to upload anywhere near as frequently or have a schedule. So I might upload frequently. I don't fucking know. I'm gonna wing it. In other words, I'm gonna do what I do with just about everything else I do in my life. But with that aside, currently there's a shooting going on at YouTube headquarters, and from what I can tell, I'm gonna give some, what's what I'm looking for, snips of it later. But just to touch on it, that is a thing that's happening at the time we're recording. This is actually happening the day that this is decided to record. This happened to be the day that this happened. No, I didn't plan it, I swear. But on a more, less personal note, I guess, I'm going to be doing a little bit of wizardry here. I'm a little bit rusty with this whole thing, seeing as I haven't used it in 2 fucking weeks at this point now. So bear with me. If you do hop on in the chat, let me know if my audio sounds funky or anything. As I reset it, but I can't hear it. So you guys are gonna have to clue me in. Also, this is open house, so if you happen to be in the chat, you got something you want to say to me, or you just want it in general, just let me know and I'll send you the link, because I really don't fucking care. So anyway, without further ado, let's get this going, shall we? As soon as I remember how to do this. No, I don't want to share my entire window. That's scary enough. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to do that for now. Ooh, screenception. No bueno, no bueno. What the fuck? Who the fuck? What the fuck? The fuck? The fuck's... Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry about that. Anyway, so this tweet right here caught my eye. Given the YouTube situation, this particular thing caught my eye. This actually happened before that, though. As you can tell, this was April 2nd. Ironically, right after April Fool's Day, because, speaking of fools. But if you're unaware, Delaney Tarr is sort of looking for, associated with David Hogg, the mouthpiece of the March for Our Lives movement, which, if you don't know who that is, I'm sorry, I can't help you learn the internet. But anyway, this tweet right here, a lack of self-awareness is epic levels of high with this one. You're starting off the last quarter of senior year with a good old violation of privacy. You shouldn't be talking about rights there, darling. Seeing as you're one of the advocates for taking away innocent civilians' rights to own a firearm. Oh, but that aside, I don't know. Some of these people just shaving a haircut. Fucking bite me. I do what I want. I'm free, white, and over 21. Speaking of that, though, I probably should turn my camera off. There we go. That's not as hideous, at least. Although it does kind of resemble a butthole. That's not the point. Anyway, so yeah, that was an interesting tidbit, but it gets more interesting. Now, keep bearing in mind that original tweet. I just juxtapose this, I suppose you could say. The screen share again for you guys. There's that. Screenception again. Ah, you fucker. There's that one. And then there's this one. Sure, now this isn't her. This is David Hogg, obviously. But as you can see, she retweeted that. And this is him talking about Laura Loomer. Not Laura Loomer, excuse me. Ingram. God, fucking Looney Loomer. Anyway, we're talking about Laura Ingram. Now, freedom of speech is a fundamental right within the First Amendment. Is recognized, as in most civilized Western cultures, as a fundamental human right. Unless you're in Scotland and your dog Zig Heils and they throw you in the brink. But this one is, it's like it's almost like the two individuals here are presenting their own age in a way that not even words could explain. You'd be like, these people are teenagers. You wouldn't have to explain it to somebody. You just have to be like, these two people are all about abolishing the Second Amendment. And then you'd show them this. Now, keep in mind, David Hogg is also the same one that complains about mean things being said about him on Twitter. So, needless to say, the freedom of speech only applies to those I agree with, I guess you could say. All right, let me save that for later. She also retweeted this. So I'm gonna go into this, but once again, just going to the hypocrisy of the thing. She's complaining about a obvious breach of privacy, yet she has no issue whatsoever with going after the Second Amendment. Keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with any of your tweets that you happen to come across. Excuse me. So this individual is saying that notice that the only people pushing the narrative that we want to get rid of the Second Amendment is the NRA. Actually, no, there's a lot of people saying that, even people amongst in your group. So at least own up to it. In case you haven't heard, we don't want to get rid of the Second Amendment. Like I said, some of your people in your group have in fact come out. Am I saying you as an individual? No. But your group, you might want to watch that line that you're dancing on, because it's a slippery slope across. When you step over that line, it's going to drop to the bottom. But for perspective here, Dana Loesch, I'm probably butchering her last name, but quite frankly, I don't care. She's a NRA member and Second Amendment advocate. But that's not really the point here. Like, that's the one I already showed. And that's just in here for the little funsies. So, oops, screen inception again. I hate that. Yeah, like I said, I'm a bit rusty, so bear with me. You're up against Aiden Paladin doing sexy Japanese hentai voice. Make this live stream good and hard. The only way you're gonna get good and hard is if you're here. I'll get you good and hard. Yeah, I'm sorry, Aiden. I don't have anything on Aiden. She's actually female and she's attractive. She doesn't sound like she lives in a place where people regularly fuck their cousins. That's aside. That's besides the fact. They're bitching that their school is like a prison. Irony. They're bitching that their school is like a prison. Yet, at the same time, they want to take people's rights away like you do in prison. So, like I said before, no self-awareness. But that's aside. It's aside from the fact. I mean, it's not really aside from the fact. It's literally living in it. But let's move on. Let's move on to something a little funnier. So, I'm gonna screen share again. So be prepared for the screenception. And this here is, so I didn't take these, somebody else that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do believe that I did retweet it, so you could probably find it on my feed. But basically, this is an abstract depiction of the hypocrisy of Brianna Wu as an individual. I believe she is running for office, so bear that in mind if you see her on the ticket. God knows I hate a hypocrite, so I'm gonna dive right into this one. I don't care if you're on the right or the left. If you're using the France tragedy for your personal politics, I will lose all respect for you. Meanwhile, she goes on to bash, or goes on to talk about tragedies rather. And while injecting her own political agenda, she's not showing her bias. She's just outright saying, "I'm going to use this tragedy to push this agenda." So hypocrisy, self-awareness, cognitive dissonance, all quite prevalent in the Brianna Wu package, as it were. But that's besides the point. I've had a little bit of a tiff with her. Not really a tiff with her, but I commented on a post. Actually, it was this one right here that she made, and I said, keep in mind, she posted this today, and this is the day that the YouTube corporate office shooting happened, or is happening. I don't know if it's currently still happening or what's going on. I read somewhere that CBS or NBC that the shooter was dead and it was a female, but this early on, I don't trust it. But regardless, it's just it's one thing to change the way you feel about politics in general. As you get older, you evolve, your opinion change. I admit it, I've done it in my lifetime, quite recently actually, when I was in my teens. But it's another thing to have something that you hold as a core principle and then immediately flip on it the minute that it fits a narrative that you want to push. It's like saying it's no different than the Catholic pastor saying that homosexuality is bad while they're raping a child in the back room. It's not as bad in the sense that it's morally bad. It's the same. It's hypocrisy is what it is, and hypocrisy is hypocrisy regardless of how you cut the cake. So that's just Brianna Wu for him. But I'm not surprised she's of the leftist persuasion, and right wingers will do this too. They'll gladly overlook their own biases to tout as some kind of unbiased and unaffected by the changing tides of political movements, as it were. But that's never the case, and always take everything that everybody says as a grain of salt, with a grain of salt. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the excuse me. It was News Channel 13. That said, YouTube headquarters is dead of self-inflicted gunshot. 4 wounded. Don't know how many dead. But yeah, that's that little fucking tidbit of information. So, for the funsies, if you're on the Twitter, you keep an eye out for any Brianna Wu if you want some cancer in your life. in other news, I deep-throated an 8-inch banana. YouTube getting shot up. Xmas already. Forcing kids. Yeah, I've been loving this school forcing kids to use see-through backpacks. The messages some kids are putting in their backpacks are hilarious. I agree. But then again, what do you expect from a bunch of undeveloped and essentially unexperienced individuals? Which is funny because we have a whole group. We have a generation that's literally eating Tide Pods. And instead of being like, hey, maybe we should let social Darwinism, kind of do its thing, like not social Darwinism, but Darwinism in general, like survival of the fittest. You're dumb enough to eat a Tide Pod, you kind of deserve to die. Now, what does the government do? Oh, well, we should change the way that Tide Pod looks because teenagers are eating it. Like, what? Are you? You got to be shitting me, right? Did I wake up in an alternate universe where idiocracy is going to happen? I mean, who am I fucking kidding? Of course it's going to happen. Prison works real well. Shankings, right? Oh, I'm going to get into that. So I'm going to be screen sharing here in a minute, but let's, first off, I have to actually open it. And this is, Viral is going to love this because he's from across the pond, but I'm going to screen share yet again, but I'm going to do application window this time so it doesn't fucking go all funky dookie on me. But yeah, this is a article that came across my periphery from the 2nd of April 2018. So now bear in mind, for those of the people that watch me that live across the pond, and maybe not necessarily London, but in Britain or the UK, whichever you prefer, they're well aware of the fact that the UK has some very, very, very strict gun laws. So with that in mind, London murder rate overtakes New York's. By the way, they mean there's New York City. There's the New York City takes a very, never mind, rant, pushing that aside. Spike in violent crime in London saw more murders committed in the city in February and March than there were in New York, figures show. So far in 2018, the Met Police have investigated 46 murders compared with 50 in a U.S. city. So it goes to show the criminals don't care. They're going to kill regardless, whether it be with an AR-15 or a Bowie knife. It's going to happen. But no, hold on. We should ban assault knives now, right? It's a Bowie knife. It looks like a very mean, aggressive knife. We should ban it. Yeah, great fucking idea, Turbotard. While New York's murder rate decreased from the end of January, London's rose markedly from that point. Ex-Met Police Chief Sup Leroy Logan. I'm probably fucking murdering that somehow, but I'm not from London. Don't fucking judge me, okay? So there's proof that London's violent traits have become a virus. I hope he means that. I hope he means that like metaphorically, not literally. Statistics from the New York Police. They wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Let's be fair here. Statistics from the New York Police Department, NYPD, and the Metropolitan Police reported in the Sunday Times and obtained by the BBC highlight narrowing murder rates between the two cities, which have similar population sizes. So London has a population of around 8.3 million then. It's pretty fucking large considering you guys live on a very small island. City Hall says it is deeply concerned by knife crime in the capital, but along with Met Police, insists London remains one of the safest cities in the world. Your figures beg to differ, pal. I'm just saying. Well, hold on. I like this one right here. Can Scottish police help stop violent deaths in London? Of course not. They're too fucking busy fucking throwing people in prison for saying the wrong thing on the internet. But that's something many people have covered in regards to the Count Dankula thing. But that's just hilarious to me. We're the safest city in the what did it say? Safest remains one of the safest cities in the world. We're one of the safest cities in the world. You know, if you don't look at this graph though. We don't nope, that didn't happen. In January, the Met investigated 8 murders, whereas the NYPD looked into 18 killings. That's like 10 different. By February, the New York PD's figures had dropped to 11, while London's rose to 15. So you guys get a little chilly over there. You guys get a little stabby, happy. Agnosis is Sam Hyde. Well, you know, some would say I resemble him. They say it was a woman that did it, and gee money, you did say I was looking pretty feminine with the long hair. So, excuse me. In March 22nd, murders were investigated in London, while 22 murders were investigated in London, while 21 inquiries were launched in New York. I like the colorful language, how they're very blunt when it comes here, like with London. They're like, 22 murders were investigated in London, while 22 inquiries were launched in New York. We're not going to refer to the dead body as a body anymore. We're going to refer to this as an inquiry. Nothing political there. I just thought it was funny. When the figures are weighted for population, the rate of murders per 100,000 people was higher in London than in New York in February and March. I want to see by how much. Let's go back to the graph. Was that by 100,000? Or is that just murders in general? That's just murders in general. Okay. I might look that up later after I'm done streaming because I'm curious about that. Because it doesn't say here, as far as I haven't read this article yet. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't mention it in this. But Met said it was concerned at the increase in murders in London. Well, duh. One murder is one too many, and we are working hard with our partners to understand the increase and what we can all do to prevent these tragedies from happening in the first place, the spokeswoman said. However, it is a murder rate that has left Mr. Logan feeling absolutely devastated. I cannot understand how things have gotten out of hand, he said. Well, you see, I'm going to break it down for you, Skippy. You took the innocent civilians, the people that, average Joes, they don't do anything. They're minding their own business, going to work 9 to 5, paying the bills, and you took their weapons away from them. And all the people that still have weapons and violent tendencies, they still have weapons and violent tendencies. And they don't care about the law. Obviously, they still have their weapons, which are illegal now. So you have an unarmed populace versus the armed populace. You see, now you can say, well, you can just pick up a phone and call the police. Yeah, but the average police reaction time to a phone call varies depending on what it is about, where you live, what time of the day it is. There's so many variables in there. There's no variable with a fucking 12 gauge. Either you fire it or you don't. Like, as clear a cut as you could possibly make. You don't have to muddy the waters at all to try to make it sound peaceful. But that aside, I'm not here to patronize those that live in Britain all that much. But we have seen the virus. Like I said before, I really hope he's joking. we have seen, not joking, but speaking metaphorically, we have seen the virus of violence spreading, and it is endemic in so many different parts of society. It can only be dealt with in a holistic manner because it is so holistic in its impact. Police can't just arrest or stop and search their way out of this problem. It has to be done in partnership with the communities. No, but they can sure as hell fucking find the time to monitor people and what they say online. Like, maybe and just bear with me. You take all of the time that you had allocated to making sure that people say peaceful things online, and you allocate that time to preventing actual crime. Like, instead of going and locking up people that make their dog do a Hitler salute, you go out and you stop a mugging, or you stop somebody from getting stabbed. I think the stabbing part's a little bit more important. I think the person that's lying on the ground bleeding to death because they got knifed in the gut is a little bit more of a dire situation than the person who's a fucking fifi's got offended on the internet. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a cop. So, yeah, there's that. The Met Police has launched 44 murder investigations in 2018, 31 of which have been as a result of stabbings. And I would not be surprised. Funny thing that you can't get your hand on a rifle anymore, you immediately turn to shanking people. So, how long is it going to take before you guys? I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you guys have a limit on the length that a knife can be. Like, there are actual laws regarding knives. And of course, this is all arbitrary considering, there are people out there with cleavers and whatnot that didn't give up their dangerous assault knives. They kept them because, hey, I'm just using it for a fucking meat carver. It's just the idiots that are going around killing people with it. But hold on. Let's get into this one a little bit more. The deaths of 47-year-old Laura Cecilia Navarrete de Figueira. I butchered that. I'm sorry. From Twickenham, and her sons Claudio, 10, and Joachim. All right, with a name like that, I'd kill him too. I'm joking. I'm fucking joking. 7 are part of the same Met Police murder investigation. She was found stabbed in London while the boys were discovered dead along with their father at the foot of the Burling Gap in Sussex. I'm not too sure what that is, but it sounds like they killed the mother at. Wait, hold on. I'm assuming they killed the mother in London and then dumped the bodies, in Sussex. Croydon Central MP Sarah Jones, who chairs the all-party parliamentary group. Oh, that's a fucking fencer name if I ever heard it. Parliamentary group on knife. Anyway, told the BBC's Today program that you guys in your weird fucking spellings and shit, that London could learn from New York on how to reduce violent crime. Oh my god. I can say as a New Yorker that New York City fucking sucks. So that's kind of that's embarrassing. That thing's a woman. That's just scary. London needs to treat violent crime like a disease. I think you need to treat it a little bit like something a little bit more important than the common cold. I'm just saying. Like the same analogy I made before about the lady bleeding to death after the knife wound. I think she's a little bit more of a dire situation than the guy saying mean shit online. I think the guy with the sniffles is a little less worrisome about his personal life than the people that are involved in gangs and shit. I'm just saying. I mean, am I the crazy one with the comments trying to apply common sense to this? Like, is thinking that you're the only sane one left make you crazy? Because sometimes I feel like I might be losing a screw or somewhere. But anyway, New York has been able to bring down serious violence through a public health approach. She said, "We need a proper strategy that looks at all of the issues." I'd really like to see exactly what New York City did to reduce its crime, or if it's just reduced because it's getting warmer out and people aren't living inside as much. But that's besides the point. Knife crime and violent crime acts like an epidemic. So you need to go in at the source to cut it off, and then you need to inoculate the future young people against it. Now, when it comes to crime, I mean, I get what she's saying. She's basically saying what you need to do is you need to go in and you need to cut out the cancer, and then you need to prevent future children from getting put in a situation where they are more likely to be violent. I get what she's saying, but it's that it sounds it sounds so clunky. I'm nothing critical of the individual. I just think she could have chose a better analogy. That's just me. Going in at source means major intervention work with youth workers. Inoculating means, okay, so I got to read on a little bit further before I set my foot in my mouth. Fair enough. Inoculating means going into schools, changing the social norms, educating kids, teaching them what it is to be a man, teaching them how they don't need to carry knives. How they mean changing the social norms. Oh, that doesn't sound like Darwin. That doesn't sound like some form of social Marxism whatsoever. Educating kids. So what the fuck were you doing with them before? We were like, here you go, Johnny. Here's a toothbrush. Go shave it into a shiv and go stab little Jacob over there. I would do it in a British accent, but I don't want to make your guys' ears bleed. Like, seriously, I get what you're saying. Tell them that violence is bad, but shouldn't you already be doing that? Shouldn't you already be telling them, hey, you shouldn't stab people? And the whole teaching them what it is to be a man. You do realize that there are little girls too, right? And that little girls can be violent too, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to deny the fact that most violent crime is done by men. I'm not going to deny that statistic whatsoever. However, there's that other little bar that you're not looking at that happens to be women too. So just keep that in mind. Don't be so exclusionary. I thought we were all about being inclusive around here. Why you gotta separate the men, huh? Why you gotta separate the boys from the girls? I thought we didn't do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Only when it comes to negative things, and then we separate them. It's like how you want to talk about how black people are more affected by crime, but you don't want to talk about the fact that they have a higher rate for not having a father in the household. You want to separate the two because you don't want them to be linked to each other, because it breaks down the concept that we need the government to go in and treat us like mommy and daddy and fix all of our social issues. I see what you did there. Clever. And teach them that they don't need to carry knives. I mean, you don't need to carry a knife, but just because you're carrying one doesn't mean that you're going to use it. Are they going to start seriously making the argument that carrying a knife is going to make you violent? Is this the video games make you violent argument of knifing? Like, I guess I see it that way. I'm just confused. Let me just double check the chat and make sure they're not telling me I'm a fucking idiot. Well, I guess I'm not an idiot. Anyway, moving on. A gay-looking car. I will say this about across the pond. You guys have some fucking faggoty ass looking vehicles. Like, at least our police cruisers, they look mean, they look aggressive. Yours are like, yeah. I also carry a purse. I'm sorry. I'll poke in front of the Brits aside. In February, the Mets commissioner, I'm gonna fuck this up. Or Cressida Dick, visited police in Glasgow to learn. Is it Glasgow or Glasgow? I'm sure I'll be corrected. To learn about a public health approach which has seen murder rates in Scotland drop dramatically. There are plans for I can't even say it with a straight face. Miss Dick to carry out more fact-finding trips. Oh, with a name like that, she was picked on in high school. In New York and with the West Midlands, Durham and Avon and Somerset forces. Meanwhile, the government has launched a €1.35 million campaign aimed at 10 to 21-year-olds. The adverts to run across social media and digital channels feature stories of teenagers who have been stabbed. Well, given the crime rate, the way it's been going, look at it this way, guys. In about 10 years, you're not going to have to spend that €1.35 million on adverts telling teenagers how it feels to be stabbed, because most of them will know. I mean, I'm just trying to give you the silver lining here. Yeah, that's the name of the show. But it's all right. I'm going to hell for that one. Anyway, with that fucking topic aside, let's take a quick gander at what's down here. Girl 17 shot. Oh, I'm gonna look into that. I think that's the next one I'm looking into. But rare Harry Potter book thief scented. Dude, if you're gonna go to prison, at least make it worth it. Waltham-style shooting. 16-year-old boy dies of injuries after he was shot during shocking night of violence. But I thought that you guys had such common sense gun control laws, and this never happened over there. You know, it's almost like the criminals are going to be criminals and do it anyway. It's almost like criminals don't care about the law. Who would have thunk it? The things that we that defend the Second Amendment have been crying out to the dulled ears of glazed-eyed teenagers prancing behind everybody else in a fucking rally with their eyes fixated on their fucking phones while they tweet the same hashtags over and over and over again, and completely ignoring what we're saying, mind you. They don't see. Nope. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it forever corner. I'm gonna leave it alone. But anyway, let's move on to this one. Yeah, this is, I do believe, the one I mentioned before. I was going to go on to this one next. Yep. Girl 17 dies from gunshot wound, not shooting. So, 2 shootings in London in the space of an hour, including a drive-by attack, have left a 17-year-old girl and a boy, 16, dead. Friends said the girl named locally as Tanisha Melbourne. So, what the hell was her actual name? Oh, Tottenham? Okay, I could see why. Was killed for no reason. Why'd you put that in quotes? Like, we don't know. I mean, she might have been a kicker. She might have been a puppy kicker in her free time for no reason in Tottenham. Killed in Tottenham. So, oh, Jesus Christ, I fucked that up. So, I don't know why they're saying like locally as to news named her. Oh, never mind. I don't care. I don't want to know. In Tottenham on Monday night, the Met has confirmed she died when shots were fired. Why do you put that shit in quotes? From a vehicle as it drove past a group of young people 2 miles away in Waltham style. The boy was found with gunshot wounds with another boy, 15, who had stab injuries. Okay, so I'm assuming these two are completely not related. Like, the one was a drive-by, and the other one had a 16-year-old get shot, which at first I was like, oh, the 2 miles apart, maybe they're related. And then it's like, oh, there was somebody there who was 15 who had been stabbed. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but drive-by stabbings aren't a thing yet. So, the boy who suffered gunshot wounds died later in the hospital, police said. Both attacks have amid concerns over rising violent crime in London. Police say the shootings are not linked. So, I mean, it's a fair assumption. Denisha, whose name has not been officially confirmed, was pronounced dead at 22:43. I'm assuming that's British Standard Time. For you normers out there that don't know, that's 10:43 p.m. near Northumberland Park, Tottenham, what the fuck ever. Police remain at the scene. Grieving family members and friends left floral tributes and candles at the scene in Chalgrove Road on Tuesday. So they didn't have a march for their lives? For common sense gun control that already exists. Maybe they need to ban assault vehicles. Any vehicle that travels over 15 miles an hour, you have to shut it down. You have to ban the lengths of vehicles while we're at it too. Anything with longer than a 6-foot wheelbase, cross it and bend, buddy. It's not good anymore. One friend described her as a very lovable little girl in the community. She was not involved in any sort of problems with anyone. I really don't care. Just started shooting. Taisha, 21, who knew Tanisha, fucking Taisha, you're gonna kill me, told the BBC she was just chilling with her friends when she was shot. Also, there was more than one person getting out of the drive-by. That makes sense, I guess. The car just pulled up and just started shooting, she said. Her friend came banging on my door, so I came out quickly and tried to save her. Had to. So I'm assuming she's talking about the other girl, not the 21-year-old. But I'm assuming, I could be wrong. She said the gunshot wound below the victim's breast was not immediately visible and looked like she was having a fit. I put her on her side and I was just rubbing her back, saying everything's going to be okay. I just can't believe it. So young. It's ridiculous now. Yeah, well, that's usually with death. Death comes for us all. Witness said a woman believed to be the victim's mother began screaming when she discovered the girl shortly after the shooting. Detective Chief Richard Wood described the attack as terrible. At this stage, we're keeping a completely open mind. It's too early to say what the motive is, or indeed if it's just a case of the wrong place, wrong time, he said. We do not know that a vehicle drove past a group of young people. Shots were fired from the vehicle, and sadly, the young lady lost her life. And keep in mind, this is all in a country that has very strict gun laws. I'm not too sure. I'm not up on the law, but I'm fairly certain that anything beyond like sporting shotguns is illegal without some form of verification of permit or something like that. Oh, let's see here. Oh, ban assault spoons. Yes. Pounds. No, it's called pounds. Deep investigation from Miss Dick. Go get that deep dick. She's gonna come over to America. She's gonna go to New York. She's gonna go deep with that dick investigation. How come I feel like getting violated? Our black knife deaths being ignored. Like seriously, people are getting fucking stabbed, and you people are gonna boil it down. Never mind, I shouldn't even be fucking surprised at this point. David Lammy, Labour MP for Tottenham, said he was deeply worried about London's rise in violent crime, particularly in this area. There is no single cause, but there has been a spike in both gun crime and knife crime across London. I already covered this. You took away the weapons from the people who actually follow the law and left those that don't follow the law with the fucking weapons still. You unbelievably daft, dense troglodyte. Certainly, my constituency finds itself at the epicenter of that. Yes, because you are the same kinds of assholes that say stricter gun laws will save us all. Meanwhile, there's a spike in crime. I can't imagine why. He said cuts to police budgets meant fewer neighborhood officers on the streets who were able to pick up intelligence from communities. We also as a side note, we happen to have a certain group of our police regularly investigating Twitter and other forms of social media so that we can knock away people that say mean words on the internet. But I'm not going to say that. You're not too busy sucking the fucking dick of PC culture. Anyway, my rant aside, a 17-year-old girl is a 19-year to be murdered in London this year. See, that's one of the things that baffles me about London. Look how fucking narrow that street is. You could not own an American-sized vehicle in there. I mean, like an American-sized pickup. Anyway. A local resident who did not want to be named said she heard multiple shots, which sounded like a bomb exploding. Well, I mean, yeah. What the fuck do you think of what do you think of firearm? I know that people that don't know about firearms are dense, but I didn't know that they were didn't know that it's basically an explosion that propels a projectile out of a chamber. Like they do know that, right? Like it doesn't work on invisible magic. I mean, I shouldn't tempt fate. Last time I did that, I saw some really dumb shit. She said it's not nice. I've lived here for 40 years, and in the last 2 or 3 years, it's become not a nice place. There are so many drugs, stabbings, and killings. For the love of fucking Christ. You know, reading stuff like this further, you know, like reminds me even more of why I see so many people that are living across the pond say like, "Dear Americans, do not give up your firearms." It's like, and of course we don't listen. You know, we don't listen. We don't listen to people that have experienced. It's like people that live in like Venezuela that come to that tell us it's like, do not fucking fall for socialism and communism. Or people that come from Cuba, it's like, hey, communism sucks. You don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just not educated like the rest of us college educated people are. We know better. Your life experiences, fuck them. I'll throw those right out the door along with your uneducated words. And I'm going to sit here on my high horse with my nose in the air while I pretend to fight for the rights of the little man. But let us continue this walk down fucking this rabbit hole. At the scene, Greg Mackenzie, BBC London. The community in Tottenham has already been gripped with grief and shock that a young woman has had her life ended so tragically. I mean, yeah, you know, murders tend to do that. I'm told there were. I realize this is just fluff added into the article to give you a sense of a personality and personality and connection with the individuals that are involved. So I'm being a smartass, but I'm aware of the reason why they type like this. So I'm told there were dozens of people out until 2 a.m. British Standard Time consoling each other while other residents woke to see police cordons and press at the scene. Probably thinking, what the fuck's going on? There was a poignant silence when the body of the 17-year-old was taken away, broken only by the sound of people crying. I really hate when people cry. Excuse me. In this area, there are people, no matter what age, who are fearful. Yeah, people are getting killed at an alarmingly increased rate. Of course, people are fearful, regardless of their fucking. Whether or not you die from a stabbing is not contingent upon what age you are. And residents spoke about self-imposed curfews and mothers not letting their children out after 1900. For those of you that are not aware, that is 7 p.m. So when the government doesn't do what it's supposed to do and protect its citizens take matters into their own hands. Now, keep in mind, this is relatively benign. They're just imposing curfews upon themselves. They're restricting their own freedoms because you as a society took their freedom to protect themselves away from them. So since they cannot protect themselves, they're protecting themselves. They cannot protect themselves in the physical sense. They're protecting themselves in the sense that they can still do. Now, these are self-imposed curfews. I'm only waiting until the talks of let's impose a curfew because people being out too late is a bad thing. Let's further restrict people's rights because our original restriction of their rights didn't work. Now, I know a lot of people that are anti-Second Amendment always talk about the slippery slope fallacy, which to me, I could see where the slippery slope fallacy, however, people say that and they use it in the literal sense. Your argument is based upon what ifs, and yes, that may not happen. However, when you see a trend happening, and we all know how human nature works, it's no longer a slippery slope fallacy. It's being able to see what's happening and recognizing it as your trend in human nature. So what's going to happen is they're going to start imposing curfews, given that the issues are continuing. This is pure conjecture. Pure conjecture. They're going to start imposing curfews on a law level rather than people just doing it for themselves. And it's going to end up getting passed because there are mothers out there and fathers who literally want to protect the youth of the nation. Yeah, the POD reference there. So they're going to further restrict rights to defend themselves. When originally, what happened, the reason why they find themselves in this situation is because they allowed their rights to get taken away in the fucking first place. Bear that in mind. So if it does end up being a thing in the future, but especially those of you that live in Britain and London and whatnot, bear in mind what I said today. Amid the sadness, there is also anger and questions over what the mayor of London is doing. Oh, he's writing angry tweets about Trump and saying that people that say mean things on the internet are literally Hitler. I'm exaggerating, obviously. Well, not the mean tweets about Trump thing. That's actually kind of true. But anyway, another neighbor. Oh wait, no. What is this picture of? Another thing about like London streets. Like this isn't what I picture when I picture London. Just so you guys know, I picture like the cobble roads and everything. This is more like like kind of a rough neighborhood in Manhattan. But anyway, so another neighbor who did not want to be named said stabbings were common in the area. The Tottenham resident said, "It's so violent around here. I nearly got stabbed the other day. If you've been around Tottenham a long time, you get it." Yeah, it's like living in a rough. It's just like living in a rough neighborhood in the U.S. when it comes to like gunshots and everything and sirens. Me as an individual who lives in a relatively small city, I hear sirens every now and again, but they'll wake me up in the middle of the night if I hear them. Like just the other night, an ambulance showed up at my neighbor's house, and I heard it, and it woke me up. However, if I go to the city, I won't be able to sleep because the fucking the sirens all the time, and those people, they don't fucking care. It's all it all becomes second nature to them. 9 charges on rising knife crime in England and Wales. I'll have to look at that one later. One witness who works in a nearby shop said he heard 3 distinct bangs, which sounded like fireworks. Once again, I hope you know how firearms work. He said he saw the victim with blood on her chest sitting with friends following the shooting before police cars and ambulances arrived. Close to the scene, residents held an impromptu celebration of Tanisha's life until the early morning. We were out here until 1 o'clock in the morning, and neighbors said. It was really heartbreaking. We were here for ages, but clearly she was already gone. Forensic officers that spent most of the day at the scene gathering any evidence. You know, I'm not a police officer or a forensic investigator by any means. So keep in mind what I say with keep in mind it's coming from somebody who's an idiot on the internet. But the amount of evidence that you could gather from a drive-by seems very little. I mean, a part what you can gather from victim or from eyewitnesses about what color vehicle, license plate numbers, and of course the casings that you find around the area the drive-by. Most of the time they're moving. They don't get a good glimpse of the face, and since they're moving and since the gunshots just happened, they're not really paying attention to the vehicle that did it or the license plate for that matter. So to me, I'm gonna say this probably is gonna go unsolved, unfortunately, but I hope I'm wrong. School friend Candace Hassan said she found out about the murder on social media just half an hour after the shooting. It was shocking. Everyone's upset, obviously. One minute I see her, and the next minute I don't. That's kind of how death works. 1 hour before her death, I saw her on Snapchat. 1 hour before she got shot. Everyone knows Tanisha. She's just a humble girl. It was just the wrong place at the wrong time. She didn't deserve any of that. To be fair, I really don't think most people deserve to get shot in the chest. Like murder, I don't even think most murderers deserve to get shot in the chest. But that's just me. 17-year-old who went to Gladsmore Community School was Tanisha added, I have heard it was a drive-by shooting, obviously gang-related. Wood Green and Tottenham. I'm assuming that's a reference to the I don't know what you call them in London, but I'm just gonna say areas. They call them boroughs in New York City. But formal identification is yet to take place. However, Tanisha's next of kin have been informed of her death. The Walthamstow crime scene in Mark House Road is just over 2 miles from the site of the Tottenham killing. Yeah, not really what I consider, not really what I think of. I mean, other than these buildings back here, it's like not really what I think of when I think of London. Like I picture like those old school, colonial style buildings. Stella Creasy, a Labour MP for Walthamstow, said 16-year-old boy was taken to a hospital in East London. He said, been in intensive care. Scotland Yard said the 15-year-old boy who was stabbed in Walthamstow has life-changing but not life-threatening injuries. No, they said stabbed, but I don't think they ever said where. There have been no arrests in either investigation. It brings the total of fatal shootings in London this year to 7, including one man who died after being shot and stabbed. Shot and stabbed. Wow, somebody really did not like him. A Downing Street spokesman said there can be no place in our society for violent crime. Yeah, that's why murder is illegal, and most violent crimes are crimes. The government is determined to do everything it can to break the cycle. We have already consulted on new laws on offensive and dangerous weapons, including banning online stores from delivering knives to residential addresses and making it an offense to possess certain weapons in private. Right here. That just pisses me off. Like I said a million times before, what we're going to do is we're going to take away rights from the citizens. We're going to take away rights from citizens that actually are going to follow the law and actually listen to what we have to say instead of doing what we're supposed to and giving them back the rights we took away that put them in the situation in the fucking first place. Really, do you really think the people that are buying these fucking knives are having them delivered to their front door? No, they're either going down to a shop and buying it, or they're buying it through some other form of illegal manner because I don't want a paper trail attached to it. I'm not even a cop and I can tell you that, you fucking idiot. Oh, and making it an offense to possess certain weapons. So what? You're gonna tell me you can't have a 6-inch fucking steak knife anymore? Because yeah, the people that keep the fucking knives and the chopping block at the house are really the people you need to be fucking concerned with. You unbelievable fucking idiot. And this one right here, we have already consulted on new laws on offensive and dangerous weapons. Oh, so offensive weapons. That's not fucking subjective. Hey, that broken bottle you got there offends me. I'm going to put it on the fucking FBI, not the FBI, but Interpol's fucking most wanted list. We have, the issue isn't the tool. The issue is the individuals that are involved with this. The individual doing it for whatever purpose that they're doing it, usually gang related, or they're trying to mug somebody, which you're not going to fucking stop. It's always going to be there. It's a part of human nature. Get the fuck over it. Does it suck? Yes. Is it wrong? Yes. I am not condoning fucking gangs and violence. However, I'm not an idiot, and I am well aware of the fact that they do exist. And B, for the love of fucking God, the reason why these issues occur is because citizens cannot defend themselves. For fuck's sake, people, get a fucking clue. The issue isn't your average Joe that works a 9 to 5 and fucking provides food for his family. The issue is Joe Schmo. It's Joe Schmo, the guy that's in a fucking gang and fucking kills people for their money or their drugs or because they're from a different fucking gang. Or Joe, the guy that fucking mugs people because he doesn't have a job and he's addicted to fucking heroin. Those are the people that are causing the fucking issue. Those are the people you should be going after, not fucking your average Joe that is minding his own goddamn business. For the fuck's sake. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done with that for now. I gave me a fucking coronary. I got something to fucking rant about for the rest of my life on that one. Anyway, I'll just about do it for this video. Well, I say that like I'm fucking recording a video. For the love of God, I'm not recording a video. I'm fucking live streaming. For those of you that are going to watch this in the future, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night. For those of you that are watching right now, take care of yourselves. If you live in fucking London, I recommend you get some form of personal protection, especially if you live in those areas that were mentioned that have been mentioned in this live stream. Anyway, take care, all. I will be back sometime with a video of some sort. I don't know. I'll wing it. Take care, everyone.